Welcome to this unit on relationship skills through sport, where the training is integrated in the migrant and host community's everyday life, aiming at improving intercultural communication and collaboration, overcoming xenophobic and discriminatory stereotypes, and, overall, offering the proper facilitation method to guarantee that sport can be used to foster integration and inclusion in both migrant and host communities at the same time and in a long-term timeframe. Team sports are widely recognized as having a positive influence on building trust and relationship skills among the teammates and the players in general, especially because the activity, being considered physical, lets the persons involved in it relativize communication barriers like different languages, which otherwise usually interfere in other social contexts when it's matter of people and groups of different national and sociocultural origins. The benefits of sharing sport activities across different groups, especially those coming from migrant and host communities together, are however usually obtained through episodic and spontaneous activities at a local level, which can be difficult to replicate elsewhere or sustain in time without a standardized structure and a self-reflective method. Moreover, spontaneous team sport activities, including migrants and members of the host community, are usually restricted to determine perceived gender affiliations, age groups, and to the cases in which common sport traditions pre-existed, this reducing any wider or longer positive joint effect on both communities. More specifically, the social categories not usually included in spontaneous common sport activities are any age groups older than young people or young adults, since sport is very often cross-culturally considered something that isn't continued once you become fully adult, for example when family and work responsibilities occupy most of your everyday life, and any gender which is not traditionally associated to a specific sport and that, therefore, is intuitively not considered in any spontaneous common traditional sport activity, for example football not being considered appropriate for girls and women. Besides this, internal specific gender biases may exist in one of the two communities, preventing one party to participate in a potentially common activity, for example dance being considered only for girls and women in a determined socio-cultural community. Another general bias may pertain a specific sport activity that overall is not considered appropriate for one of the two communities, for example because of rules about the dress code or religion-based boundaries. However, the social-emotional learning approach to sport may find a way to respect all the different kinds of boundaries existing in the context as described until now, and, at the same time, provide a way to challenge the biases which can be addressed without risking to harm the different kinds of cultural sensitiveness by relying on the practical and active involvement of the beneficiaries themselves and, through the facilitator's work, allowing them to find a middle ground in which authentic and long-term relationship can be structured. Some of the characteristics of the SEL approach to sport in this sense are 1. Promoting benefits at an individual level. SEL best practices show that individuals who are introduced in conscious and empowering sets of self-reflective physical activities may create or deepen relationships with members of different communities without having to question their own set of beliefs, but rather bending the expressions of their presence in a local context in order to grant outward communication and making it stable in the future. 2. Promoting benefits at a team level. Through SEL facilitation, the members of a team coming from a determined community have the possibility to share their feelings, emotions, and experiences learned during the sport activities with the other participants from the same team, allowing the inward communication of the team itself to become self-aware of the relation it has with the outward communication, for example with the other team or teams. 3. Promoting mutual awareness in selecting the roles of the game at the activity level. The practitioners are invited to swap their roles in the activities with each other and form mixed teams instead of the ones based on their appartenance to the migrant or the host community only. Once the rules of the game are set and a safe and respectful environment is ensured, the participants can realize that belonging to a team doesn't depend only on the perceived origin or identity, but can be restructured based on the wider dynamics of the activity itself. 4. Focus groups beyond the sport activity feedback. The trainer, the facilitator, and the practitioners attend sessions in which they discuss about the roles they had individually, at the team level and/or at the activity level, and correlate them to non-sport contexts, with priority to the ones which involve them all in everyday life. At the double community level, the discussions have to address both the relationships as they saw or experienced them before the activities and the new relationships they built during them and the ones they can keep after them as well. The SEL approach will be the glue of the reflection sections and will determine how the sport activities shall be replicated in order for the benefits to be sustainable in time and how these benefits shall positively interest the wider communal relationships in the reference context. Summarizing, the specific outcomes of this module will be 1. Build stronger, healthier relationships with individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds. 2. Improve intercultural communication and collaboration skills. 3. Develop empathy and inclusivity. 4. Deconstruct personal stereotypes and challenge xenophobic attitudes. And 5. Understand the benefits of sport in building inclusive communities. Enjoy your training experience and remember that we are not defined by the world, but the relationships we create define the world itself.